What is up, guys? I do hope you're well. My name is Mark and today we're covering some more r/am I the butthole. If you're new here, please consider hitting that like, that subscribe, and maybe, just maybe, that notification bell too, as it all really helps out our channel. It really does. And don't forget we're on podcast too now, so you can take me with you wherever you go. And if you really want to be awesome, you can support the channel too by either clicking the YouTube membership or joining us on Patreon, although no pressure to do so, as you being here and watching my videos is just more than enough for me. And yesterday we did have a new member, Allura. Thank you so much for joining us. You are truly appreciated. And with that being said, let's get into today's stories. Much love, guys. Our first story comes from Comrade97. Am I the arsehole for ruining my co-worker's life? I'll try and keep this short. All this information is important. I am from Mexico. My height is 5'10". I have a small accent when I speak English, but it's not that noticeable, only with certain words/phrases. I have darker toned skin, kind of an olive colour tone. My co-worker is female, she's in her late 20s and is a rather massive woman. Her husband I met a few times and has always been really kind to me. Ever since I've been working at my job, she makes some very nasty comments to me, things like, "You're a short Mexican, how did you cross the border? Oh, is the short brownie trying to reach something? Need a ladder? Want to make tacos? I bet you're good at that. Is your favourite sport cross country? That explains why you got here so fast. I've met actual legal immigrants taller than you." She does things like mock my accent, says things like the cartels are awesome, other stupid shit. She says a lot more and says these things because she thinks she's being funny. I talk to HR and they talk to her. Now she only makes these comments if I'm alone because she thinks there will be no witnesses. I've never made one comment about her weight, but I think she says these things to compensate for her own insecurities. One day is when I finally had enough. I took out my phone and started a voice recorder app on my phone and just waited. She comes in and starts her usual bigoted comments. The recording caught her saying, "I can't wait for your green card to expire so you can leave." I take my phone out and show it to HR. Long story short, she's fired. She tells her husband that I told a lie to get her fired. I showed him the recording for proof. He didn't say anything, but it turns out he's wanting a divorce. He kicked her out of the house. She's confronted me about it, but all I did was laugh in her face and walk away and told her she deserved everything coming to her. A couple of co-workers of mine are giving me a cold shoulder, saying I should have just sucked it up and ignored it. Excuse me? I've been ignoring it for almost a fucking year. Am I the arsehole? Edit. Hey guys, my inbox and PMs are getting so blasted, so I apologise if I don't respond or see your comment. Edit 2. To clarify, this is a second job I hold, and I felt like I was the arsehole because her husband was brought into the situation. I also mentioned her weight because I almost insulted her about it several times. I think we can instantly say here, not the arsehole. But I think what's really annoying is that your co-workers are giving you the cold shoulder as well and thinking that you should just suck this kind of attitude up, that you should just have to deal with this. Hell no, man. But let's go down into the comments and see what they're saying down there. Apricot says, "Not the arsehole, and hey, now you know the rest of your co-workers are trash too." The OP replies, "It sucks having people at work think I'm the arsehole. I've been holding that shit in for a year. Not one person is defending me." Apricot then replies, "And that's why they suck too. She shouldn't have got away with the first comment. For them to think you should tolerate that in any sort of professional environment is beyond my comprehension. I'm sorry you went through that. You're definitely not the arsehole." With a moo here says, "When Opie said they laughed in her face and walked away, I imagined this." Not the arsehole. I imagined that too. Kazi Toaster says, "I appreciate this comment so much. I snorted when I opened that link hard enough that I'm thankful I wasn't drinking anything. Not the arsehole." And once again, I turn it to you guys. What do you guys think of the story? Let me know in the comments below. And don't forget to vote on the poll in the description. Our next story is from What About Tea? Am I the arsehole for ruining my brother-in-law's day with a purposeful fart? Brother-in-law and husband co-own a house that was passed to them by their father. We live in one half while brother-in-law lives in the other. The other thing we share is the living room and kitchen. The rest is completely separate. Lately, brother-in-law has been making odd comments about my ladylikeness. I'm a down-home backwoods, dirt under my fingernails, still playing the mud puddles, basically wood rat of a woman. He's been cutting into hard labour chores I do and tells me he'll do it so I don't hurt myself / get dirty. He'll make positive comments when he sees me cleaning. Lucky man, and says things like, I've never seen you cook. You should cook more. Note, he does not cook either. I like to look nice here and there. Whenever I do dress up and do makeup, brother-in-law makes comments about how I should do it more often, and I look super nice. He has said, dressing up for husband. All of these I shut down with, I do it when I feel like it, I'm doing it for me, etc. He's not a bad dude overall. He's actually a riot to hang out with, but it's little subtle things spread out and it digs at me as roommates do. Luckily, we're moving soon. Anyways, I belched in the kitchen because I thought no one was around. Brother-in-law pops his head in and jokes, have you ever thought about being more ladylike? Now the tone is joking, but the word ladylike is like my emotional tailgating car. Tailgating only makes the person in front slow down. Telling me to be ladylike makes me turn that shit way down. I have mad props to graceful and more traditional ladies if they like it, but I am not one. I say nope and he replies, you should consider it, and leaves the room. So this morning I'm walking by the living room. Brother-in-law is watching the morning news and I decided to grace the room with a big long fart. This is the just woke up and shit is moving fart. It is the fart that has been building all night. It is loud, it has vibration, and even in the tiny room it echoes. I'd honestly give it a good 9 out of 10. It was a damn masterpiece. I thought it was hilarious immediately. Brother-in-law, not so much. He proceeds to jump up and rage about how gross it was. Fuck, I've heard him blow out farts before, and how women shouldn't do that. Unfortunately, by this time, I'm doubled over in tears because I can't stop remembering the fart, and his rage has made it even funnier. He gets beyond mad and storms off to his bedroom. It's now 9 PM and he's still enraged, hiding in his room. He says it was an arsehole move. Technically the truth. At first husband thought it was funny too, but now since it's upset his bro so bad, he's leaning towards maybe it was too much and too immature and that I should have just told him that he was being overbearing. I feel like a 37-year-old man, brother-in-law should have known better than to think he can tell a grown woman how to behave. It probably would have been better to talk about it, but who pouts all day over a fart? So, am I the arsehole for solving problems with an arsehole? Edit, you're making me cry laughing again. I'm showing my husband, and he comes around. Edit 2, every single fart story is killing me. I feel a tenth of my age right now. Ah, God. Let's dive straight into the comments to see what we can find. Judgmental Syrup says, not the arsehole, but you have to be careful with fragile men's egos. Must have hurt him being so upstaged like that. By the way, if I had any coins, I'd give you gold for the description alone. OP replies, I may or may not have laughed a lot while typing it out. More Than Just a Mum 1 says, not the arsehole, sounds like he's sexist and is projecting his views and assumptions of how women should be on you. You keep doing you, sounds like it was a good fart and brother-in-law should learn to lighten up. They make a children's book called Everyone Farts, he should read it. Bright Copper Kettles replies, I misread lighten up as lighted up and was immediately concerned about lighting anything with that much gas in the room. Also, not the arsehole. Sam W says, not the arsehole, oh my god you are a fucking queen, never change. OP replies, after 30 years I don't think I'll ever stop laughing at a fart. G Whisker says, I'm twice your age, also female and fart jokes are still hilarious to me. Now anyone who's been here a while knows I'm a big kid, so I love a fart story. What about you guys? Let me know in the comments below what you think and don't forget to vote for story 2 in the poll in the description. Our next story is from 3/4 Cup Flower Girl. Am I the arsehole for not giving up on the recipe for my dead dad's favourite cookies? Throwaway and on mobile disclaimer. My female 42 dad, technically stepdad, but he's the only dad I've ever known, died this month and we've recently held his funeral. Appropriately socially distanced in an area with reduced restrictions. I catered the meals and desserts, which were all my dad's favourite things, including the cookies I made just for him. Some background, about 20 years ago, I dropped by to visit my folks and came across a box of store-bought cookies. We laughed about it now, but I was seriously offended. I'm a baker. I asked why he didn't ask me to make them because I usually make all their baked goods, and he said he's never seen me make this kind of cookie, so he didn't want to impose. I rolled my eyes and spent the next month developing and perfecting the recipe for Pappy Treats. The name was his idea, not mine. Yes, it's cheesy, but I thought it was hilarious. God, I miss him. They've been his favourite ever since, although the cookies I developed for my mum were a close second. Anyway, these cookies were a hit at the funeral. A couple of his nephews and brothers approached me and asked if their girlfriends/wives could get the recipe. I said no. They kept on. I said no again. They pestered some more and I finally told them that I'd burn the recipe before I gave it to them. First of all, they ostracised my mum and me and treated us like shit my entire life, to the point where my dad went to NC for almost 3 years. My mum was his second wife, and his whole family took an issue with that, and the fact I wasn't biologically his. Second, this recipe is very special to me. I created recipes for people I love most, and they aren't just recipes. They're how I say I love you, and the people asking for the recipe have never shown me one iota of love or even kindness. Third, this recipe is my intellectual property. This isn't something I found on Pinterest. I created it, it's mine. I hope to someday own my own bakery, and this is a recipe I might want to use. Fourth, honestly, I don't think he'd want me to give it to them. He was immensely proud of my baking. I didn't think I was out of line, especially considering that emotions were running high, but now they're PMing me on social media. I don't know how they found me. Asking again because the cookies remind them of him and bring good memories. Apparently he shared the cookies on hunting trips over the years and saying that I'm being selfish. I think they're shitty people, but I can't help but empathise with the idea of wanting something to remind them of him. I still don't want to give them the recipe, but I'm starting to feel guilty. Am I the asshole? When the Quran says, "Not the asshole, it's a recipe you created. Even if it weren't a sentimental one, you wouldn't have to share the recipe because it belongs to you. My condolences about your father, by the way." OP replies, "Thank you so much. It's been hard, but it's a relief knowing that he doesn't hurt anymore." Psychological Swan says, "I'm sorry for your loss and absolutely don't give up the recipe. To protect yourself from some mental anguish, maybe just give them a random recipe for a similar cookie from Pinterest maybe." Electrical Wyvern replies, "My condolences for your loss. It sounds like you loved him a lot, but I agree with the post. Take the recipe that's similar but not quite and give it to them because they will pass the different in taste as the cook's fault. So keep your recipe and get the satisfaction out of having fooled them also. Fingers crossed for your bakery. If you ever get, please make an update with the link." What I love about this story is that OP sounds like a genuinely great person to have as part of your family. And the way she looks after the dad is just absolutely amazing. That she makes recipes to show them that they love them. She takes a long time to make these recipes. Absolutely amazing. What do you guys think of this story? Let me know in the comments below, and don't forget to vote in the poll in the description. Our next story comes from a throwaway account. Am I the arsehole for kicking out my daughter after she tried to send my cat to the shelter? Throwaway for obvious reasons, TLDR at the end. The relevant backstory. I have 2 daughters. One is 21 and in college, the other is 26, and because of a lot of factors finds herself pregnant, divorcing her husband and needing to live in our house for the foreseeable future, and I'm happily married to their mother. The other notable character is my cat, Lieutenant. We call her Loot. I found Loot in a dumpster almost 10 years ago, when she was only a week old. Got her to the vet and she had been my best buddy for the last decade. She is now my grumpy old little shadow whenever I'm home. So yesterday I came home from work and I hear my eldest daughter calling me from the kitchen. My wife and eldest tell me that Loot is getting old, dad, and with a baby coming, we didn't think it would be safe to keep an old grouchy cat around an infant. So we made the decision today to send Loot to a shelter, so that she can find a family that is more in line with what she needs. I told them both they were way out of line. Not in so many words, we'll talk when we get back. I drive to the closest shelter, find Loot, prove ownership, pay the $100 fee to get her back, and take her home. So here is the drama part. When I get home, I call a family meeting and tell my eldest she doesn't get to make decisions about my pets without consulting me. Loot only wants to be left alone, and even if it came to it, I would rather exhaust all my options before putting Loot through life at a shelter. My eldest began arguing with me that Loot would be a liability around an infant and that she is unpredictable. Untrue, she is either asleep, sitting on a cat tree, or eating. At that point, I saw red and told her my cat is well trained, and dared her to come up with one instance of Loot even scratching someone, which she couldn't, but kept insisting that old cats are inherently dangerous for kids. I told her that she had 1 month to get a new place to live, as she clearly doesn't respect me or my things, and that if Loot so much as lost a whisker, I would hold her personally responsible. My wife and younger daughter are now begging me to change my mind, as with my eldest current financial situation, I'd probably be condemning her to homelessness, and that my daughter should come before a cat. Am I the arsehole for kicking my daughter out after she tried to get rid of my cat? Edit to add, as many people have brought up, no, I'm not as being hard on my wife as my daughter. My wife came up to me last night and basically begged for forgiveness, saying she wasn't thinking and just accepted the things my daughter was saying without checking. Very out of character for her. So I've told her I will need some space for the foreseeable future, but I think that she and I are okay. Loot is already microchipped and wears a collar and tag. I've also contacted all shelters around my area and send them Loot's picture, chip ID, and my contact information and an explanation that I am worried someone may surrender my cat without my permission. Holy shit. Who just does that without even talking about it? Yeah, I'm just going to take your pet and take it to a shelter. And then expect no repercussions from that. And expect this guy just to accept it. Holy shit, man. The entitlement. Let's go into the comments below and see what we can find. Virtual Economy says, not the arsehole. Her entitlement astounds me. She is a complete arsehole for thinking she can remove a member of your family without consulting you. As far as I'm concerned, she did this to herself. Lucy Koshka says, 100%. Pets are family, and it's heartbreaking to see pets surrendered in situations like these. My fiance and I have a total of 3 cats, and we would never think to get rid of them when we have a kid. Not only that, but for them to come into their home and make that unilateral decision. Entitlement indeed. Edit, OP, you're not the arsehole. Also, I suppose it might be different if you've got an animal known for aggressive behaviour, but that's still something that will require a conversation. It would in no way give someone, family or no, the right to remove that animal from your home, especially after you've graciously provided them lodging. Well, I get pregnancy hormones are a thing, and her situation is probably incredibly stressful. That in no way gives her a path to do something so shitty. And once again, I turn it to you guys. What do you guys think of this story? Let me know in the comments below, and don't forget to vote on the poll in the description. And our final story comes from Miserable Psycho. Am I the arsehole for releasing my boyfriend's ants? So my boyfriend has an ant farm, and I'm not sure how much he paid for them, but the ants are also fancy, bigger than normal ones. I'm not sure the name of the breed though. The ants creep me out and make me feel itchy watching them, so I normally wouldn't watch them or watch him interact with them when he gets them out of the tank. But me and a friend were at his house watching a movie because he has a better TV than me, and he was in another room with the ants. My friend went up to go to the bathroom, and when she came back she said she'd seen him at his desk, so she had a peek at what he was doing. He had a shallow tray of water and was using a piece of wire to hold the ant under. She said he was releasing it, then redunking it. I thought that was really weird but didn't say anything, and I later told another friend about it who said he might have been testing how deep he can have a water bowl for them without them drowning. But that just doesn't make sense. Why hold it under? Why not just Google it? Again, I never said anything though, so I started to watch him with the ants subtly and noticed a bunch of other cruel things he did. He found red ants outside and put a bunch of them in a tub with one of his ants and watched his ant get attacked and eaten. I drew the line when he put one in the microwave and confronted him, and he told me I was being a baby. I didn't get to say much else because his friend showed up, but I was fuming at him. When he was sleeping, I emptied the ants into a container and released them outside. I went home after that, and he still hasn't called yet, but he'd be pretty mad. I feel bad because they weren't my property, and I never really had an in-depth convo with him before releasing them, and the ants probably aren't native, which isn't great either. I'd be extremely pissed if anyone took away or released my pets behind my back before properly talking to me first. But at the same time, he was being cruel, so I don't know. Now, I'm going to say, that's a crazy dude in the making right there. That guy's got some issues, putting ants in the microwave. Who does that? That's absolutely insane. I mean, she released them and they're going to die outside anyway, because if they're not native, the other bugs will just kill them and they won't survive. But it's much better than being nuked in the microwave, I think. Jesus Christ, that guy's got some serious issues. I'm actually concerned about the girlfriend, that she's actually still there. And I'm not accusing the guy or anything. Whenever you watch like Netflix dramas about crazy people or murderers or whatever, you always see them doing this kind of shit first, right? And I came into this story prepared to get mad at someone just releasing the ants because they find them creepy. And now I'm mad at the other person. I actually love ants though as well. I got a little ant's nest right next to me and I love watching it. I think they're fascinating to watch. But as I said, let's go down in the comments below and see what we can find. Inky says, not the arsehole, this is so much worse than I thought. I'm not an ant person or a bug person, but nothing deserves that sort of treatment. Crunchybag replies, came here to say the same thing. Thought it'd be something along the lines of releasing them out of spite, but dude is torturing these poor ants for what seems like his own pleasure. Animal cruelty is a sign of being a psychopath. I'd be concerned, OP. Inky's then replies, I wholeheartedly agree with the last part too, and even if he's not a psychopath, is that someone OP wants to be in a relationship with? Not the arsehole. You ever watch Don't Fuck With Cats? It starts with something small like an ant or cat, and it progressively gets worse. This is some seriously psychotic behaviour. And if you're not sensitive to those kind of things, take a look at Don't Fuck With Cats. Very interesting. And for the final time, I turn it to you guys. Was OP the arsehole in this for releasing the ants or not? Let me know in the comments below, and don't forget to vote on the poll in the description for story 5. Once again, guys, thank you for being here. The time out your day, as I always say, is absolutely amazing. It blows me away to think that you sit here and listen to me day after day. Absolutely crazy. Thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. I am truly appreciative of each and every one of you. Thank you once again, and I will see you in the next one. Take care now. Much love. Goodbye.